And as Jesus was walking by the Sea of Galilee, some fishermen were washing their nets from the sides of their boats. Two of them were brothers. Their names were Simon and Andrew. And Jesus came to them at the side of their boat, and he said to them, "Follow me, and I will make you fishers of men."
What's that mean, Grandpa?
The apostles, I mean, all the guys following Jesus were freaks. Can you imagine they stopped and went through anger management classes before they went to work? No, this wasn't there. He hires two guys that are known terrorists to hang out with him. Again, these guys have issues to deal with. You know, if they took the North American approach, they'd sit around for years until they got it all worked out of their system. And the thing is, they never would, so they'd never get anything done. You know, like, you know, we have to be broken to serve, and you gotta embrace that, accept the fact you're screwed, and then go do something. It's just frustrating. It's just absolutely frustrating. All these programs, all this time people spend in these things that just, they produce little to no fruit. It's so self-based. It's just like, oh, I gotta learn how to pray better, so I'm going to a 3-day like seminar on prayer. Or how about you just start praying? Like, and then trust that God knows what He's doing. You know, like it's if He can use the people in the Bible and through history who are a lot more screwed than most of us, I'm pretty sure it's a safe bet that we can actually pull off similar, you know, works in a sense. I don't know, some more of that good Christian Hill song. What every pastor should be listening to. When I was called, I guess you could say, in my theophany, I was called to, as he put it, to build things up and tear things down, to destroy some of the stuff that's wrong with the church and build up things that are good in the church. So, and that's just been coming really pronounced lately. So that was what I was first called to do. That's how I was introduced to God. I mean, I have little to no experience in the church background prior to that. I come from a completely deviant background. You know, I've got drug dealers and pimps and prostitutes and criminals of all types in my background. Two of my grandfathers were convicted child sex offenders. So yes, I'm well acquainted with the evil that men do. And then it just progressed from there. What are you down to?
Oh, fuck.
What, 98?
God damn. 130.
130, eh?
Wow. Most of the other weight was 285. But that's, I was probably like 180.
285, that's the most I've ever weighed. Wow.
Yeah, I was 180 probably when I got here.
Yep.
And so I've lost 50 pounds in the 3 months. That all came from just the ulcer and not being able to eat anything. I met Ward when I was living on the wrong side of the street. Actually, I met Ward when he first came to town. He started him and Dave were doing a supper thing at the church by the 7-Eleven. And that summer, a friend of mine died, and Ward was the only person that seemed to have any kind of gumption period to put something together for a little memorial service for the guy. And he made that happen. I moved from living in a tent to living in a place to live, and the Ward asked me one day, he said, could I bring you something by? You need anything? And I said, no, maybe a coffee maker or a little microwave. And 9 o'clock, the first night I was there, he did this big knock on the door, and there was Ward Draper with a coffee pot in his hand that he went to Walmart and bought. And so I've been impressed with the guy ever since, because what you see is what you get, and he's not afraid to get in and get his hands dirty, and he hasn't forgot where he came from, and neither have I.
Well, Jubilee Park itself is funny because homeless people have been going there for like years, like 40 years. There's been an issue with homeless people sleeping and hanging out in Jubilee Park. The irony in it is that the year of Jubilee happened every 40 years to the Hebrews, and they were supposed to, all the land that they were given was supposed to go back to the people who had potentially lost it. So when the year of Jubilee comes, the slaves get set free, and I would get my land back. Everyone kind of goes back to where they began. So it's ironic because all these people who have nothing, who are living in the park in this place called Jubilee, aren't even allowed to hang out there or even spend their time on that land. So it's pretty, I find it comical.
I was actually frustrated sometimes going to street church and just seeing the same people over and over, and you're like, okay, we're feeding them, then they're going to do drugs. We're feeding them, they're going to do drugs. And we're like just feeding this habit and letting them, enabling them to be on the street, right? But I think I kind of expressed my frustration to Ward one time, and he was like, yeah, but we're like building relationships as we do that, right? So when we're giving them food, we're like learning their name, we're learning their story, we're listening to them, we're talking to them. And like, even if nothing happens of it, maybe something will, but having a relationship gives you the power to speak into their lives.
Was Christ intimidated when he had just 5 loaves and 2 fish?
No.
He probably was.
I don't know, on numerous occasions I've called Ward up and he showed up at my door with food or clothes or whatever it had to be. I could call him and he'd show up and help me, and everybody else that been in the same boat down there. All the people who used to live down in the park and now living all over the place. I don't know where everybody is at the moment. They're just sort of scattered everywhere.
I do have a very checkered past, I guess you could say. But at the same time, it's kind of weird just, you know, bringing food hampers to people that used to sell drugs for you, or women that used to sleep around with. You know, here's my old booty call, and I'm going to go bring her family a food hamper. Awkward. You know, so it is. It's a real challenge, and it makes me question, you know, value systems and what has to be done and how it has to be addressed. And yeah, and living out your faith no matter how bad your past is. I mean, sometimes it gives me a feeling of identifying with Paul, right? And that, you know, he's got to go to these meetings he used to go to and big speeches and preaching on the gospel. Meanwhile, half the crowd, you know, he's guilty of killing their family or something. You know, so yeah, it puts that really awkwardness on you at times. Yeah, it makes people think.
With our forgotten names, we left home on the open road to find the holy flames. We are children of the sun.
He's not saying you got to go change your life. He's saying, hey, I'm here living life with you. Yes. And I think that, to me, that's kind of what I see in it. Because I've been on the high end. Those people are no different. They just think that.
Call out our names and we'll be fine. Walking where we heard the sound on down. Tomorrow mountain we will climb. Tonight the stars and fire shines in our eyes. In the woods we'll lie.
Communitas seems more dangerous. What's ironic is that just the opposite is true. The most dangerous thing for us is to play it safe.
Well, we sit here on Sundays. We bring our offerings. We sing our hymns of praise. But Christ did more than sing. He did more than give. He worked and bled and died in order that all men everywhere might live. If only, like him, we might hear that inner voice at the dawn of each new day which says, I must work the works of him that sent me.